To be unmuted is to be honest, authentic, and unapologetic with your words.
Being unmuted is also being vulnerable and sharing a part of your identity.
Being comfortable and confident enough in yourself to say what's important to you.
To be unmuted means to be completely and truly yourself.
Standing firmly in your beliefs and allowing your voice to ring and be heard.
Unmuted means being unrestrained emotionally and politically.
Means waking up on a rainy day, yet still whispering poetry into the wind.
Unmuting means turning on our microphones and cranking up the volume to make sure that we are heard all over, because the time has long since passed where we sit around and wait for change to come find us.
Welcome everyone to our last episode of the Girls Right Now Live Unmuted series. I'm Caroline, a Girls Right Now mentee. To me, unmuted means being unafraid to speak about your truth and your experiences.
Thanks, Z. I'm Orla, Caroline's mentor, and I agree completely. Unmuted means being unafraid and amplifying the voices of others who have for too long been silenced. Caroline and I will be your MCs for a night of turning up the volume on boundary-pushing performances that will deepen our understanding of our world and ourselves.
For more than 23 years, Girls Right Now has been a leader in arts education as a nationally award-winning nonprofit and the first writing and mentoring organization for girls and gender-expansive teens. At our spring performance series, we share multimedia, multi-genre works and honor women authors and media makers who inspire us and help amplify the voices of the next generation of writers and activists. Throughout the series this year, we've seen moving and inspiring works from 150 mentees from our community and heard from equally inspiring honorees. And tonight is no exception. We're so thrilled to have Mbolo Mbui, author of How Beautiful We Were, joining us as our Agent of Change honoree.
For sure. Even when everything shut down last year, Girls Right Now didn't miss a beat, transforming our programming to virtual platforms, enriching our curriculum with a focus on wellness and racial justice, and expanding our audience globally to reach more than 75,000 people. We couldn't have done that without our unbelievably generous Agent of Change partners, our Girls Right Now Circle, our dedicated board of directors, our phenomenal staff, and all of you, our community and supporters, and our biggest champions. For me, when I applied to Girls Right Now, little did I realize that I would find my little sister in Caroline. Throughout the 2020-2021 term, there have been so many unprecedented political events, and my first text, even before the New York Times alert, is either from Caroline or sent to Caroline. And then we lived through history together, and it has truly been more than I could have ever dreamed of.
As a mentee experiencing Girls Right Now virtually, I was a bit apprehensive at first, but Orla and the support network that Girls Right Now has provided for me is phenomenal, and I'm sure that many of the pairs tonight feel the same. All of the performers you'll see tonight have worked so hard with their mentors, meeting virtually each week to produce some truly incredible work.
I am so excited to hear these pieces, so without further ado, presenting Girls Right Now Live Unmuted.
Hi Girls Right Now, I'm Kate Marienthal and my mentee is Tatiana Wills. Singing has always been a passion of Tatiana's, and over the past semester, she's been taking singing lessons and workshopping song lyrics. We've spent time talking about what it means to give and receive love, and today Tatiana will be sharing her very own love song with all of you.
Hi, I'm Tatiana Wills, and I will be singing an original song called Movie Type of Way. Maybe I'll bump into a girl that I don't know in the hallway of school today. She'll call me great, take me out on a date to the movies or a cafe. Maybe we'll have a love with no heartache. We might even be soulmates. We'll get hitched, celebrate, maybe grow old one day, like some sort of shitty cliche. And I know that love like that is just so fake, 'cause love doesn't work that way. But somewhere, somehow, I hope love will come around, and that love will finally stay. Yes, somewhere, somehow, someone comes around and loves me in a movie type of way.
Hi everyone, my name is Amy Zhang and my mentee is Maria Ruiz. It was our first year as a part of Girls Right Now, and despite the tumultuousness of the year, I've really loved watching Maria express herself in writing. You'll see in a second when she reads her piece, The Place Where I Can Always Return. Maria has a really wonderful tenderness and openness in her writing and just this incredible generosity for people that really shines through.
This piece was originally a school assignment that I edited down to meet the time requirements, but it's inspired by me missing the mountains in Colombia. Bogotá, Colombia is a mountainous region where you can see the mountains while walking, driving, or even from your apartment window. That was the place where I lived from the age of 0 to 7. One of my favorite things to do was to look out and stare at the landscape while my dad was driving. I remember seeing the tall mountain of Monserrate from the car while we were stuck in traffic, and pointing out how you could see the sanctuary, or how terrified I was whenever we took a road trip to the city of Girardot, because the only way to get there was to drive through a mountain where there's a rock known as the Devil's Nose. All I ever thought about was falling off the road or having the rock fall on the car. Mountains were just background scenery for me. It didn't hold any value or important meaning until I moved away from them. I moved to New York City in 2014. I never noticed the large differences in the landscape of New York City until recently. Now, I'm only able to see long, flat roads and skyscrapers. Came to realize that it wasn't just that I missed the mountains themselves, but rather I missed Colombia. Missed the atmosphere, the people, the culture, the unbearable heat, the rainy days, the rich and savory food, the water in the bag, the flea markets, and the busy plazas. It's been 7 years and I still haven't gone back. Feels like New York City's a jail, and any other state that isn't within a 2-hour drive is the outside world what I'm prohibited from. Not being able to go back makes me feel disconnected from my roots. I tend to feel very nostalgic and sad during the summer months because my classmates, family, and friends are going back to their home countries. It's disorienting to be so far away from mountains that were in the skyline for half of my life. The memories of seeing the mountains keep my spirit and my motivation alive, but they bring back childhood memories that I mourn. In the end, New York is my place of residence, but my home is Colombia, the place where I can always return.
Hi, I'm Marina, and I'm thrilled to introduce my mentee, Dorothy. It's been such a joy to get to know her this year. The kinds of writing we've done and the conversations we've had, whether it's about difficult subjects like the pandemic and the surge in anti-Asian racism, or fun topics, like both of us watching Grey's Anatomy, have all been a real balm in this difficult year. I'm so proud of the way Dorothy has become a bold and confident writer, and I think the powerful and evocative poem that you're about to hear really encapsulates that.
Hi everyone, as Marina mentioned, I'm Dorothy, a first-year Girls Right Now mentee, and I'm so excited to share my work with you all today. After working with Marina this past year, our writing relationship has inspired me to go outside my comfort zone from the things that I normally write about. From giving me advice to reading her own work, she has helped me challenge myself, the way that I use the English language to not only empower myself, but also the issues that I care about. And my poem today is a product of how I developed as a writer. So without further ado, here's my poem, Reverie. I am a dreamer of ambition. Ambitious for a world filled with daisies and butterflies, coupled with bright sunrises and blue skies. I listen to the sparrows chirp their morning melodies, creating a symphony with the rustling leaves. I wait for the sky to clear so the sun can arrive, but that is a reality I am unprepared for. Uncovered by thick clouds and fog, I see the wilted fields and withering grass, illuminated by the streaks of sunshine, hidden under ignorance and indifference, and soon forgotten under the stroke of darkness. I tell myself I am strong and brave with an eye for sight. I envision meadows of lavender instead, bathing under bright rays of yellow, yearning to see the butterflies once more. But they tell me I am fragile and weak without a voice with might. He took my cries calling for the birds and threw them into the breeze, letting them succumb to the wind. I keep dreaming of the daisies, waiting for their bloom, wishing to sit and welcome the warmth. But this reality can only be a dream flickering in my mind, because I am only ambitious if I dream, and I can only dream if I am ambitious. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Caroline Schiffke, and over the past year, I've had the absolute joy of getting to know my mentee, Grace Cudahy. Week after week, I've been blown away by their maturity, thoughtfulness, activism, and incredible sense of humor. Even though we haven't had the chance to meet face-to-face, Grace's personality always shines through our screens. I'm so excited to introduce Grace as they read their personal essay, What Does It Mean to Be in My Body?
What does it mean to be in my body? Being in my body means playing with my hands, twitching my fingers back and forth to keep myself distracted. a slight crack in my knuckles, my fingers clicking every time I move them. It means a dull, throbbing headache in my temple that I can't escape no matter how much water I drink or meds I down. A headache that starts from the base of my head and blooms forward across my brain. Headaches that cause white spots and flurries to dance around my eyes, meaning that I need to blink hard 4 times before I can read the writing in front of me. Being in my body means tits. Not particularly large ones, but ones large for my frame and that developed quickly, leaving them always feeling like an external, strange part of me that doesn't belong. Tits that leave me with back pain, with faded, stretched out old bras that never fit right, and shirts I can't wear because they leave me with weird looks from strangers. It means adult men that stare at me, gazing at me with a predatory glare from across the train car because I made the mistake of locking eyes with them. It means boys that harass me, sneering, telling me that I am leading them on by having boobs and being nice, teasing me in front of friends, teachers, snapping my bra strap because I started wearing bras before everyone else, leaving me with a stinging sensation on my back and a sense of shame. Being in my body means walking around at night terrified, gripping keys between my fingers and looking behind me whenever someone gets too close or makes too much noise. It means wearing different clothes on the way to the party than when I get there, covering up on the train and on the sidewalk because if I get assaulted wearing something provocative, it'll be my fault. It means putting down my drink and not picking it back up again. It means not being able to trust anyone. Being in my body means EEGs, EKGs, emergency IVs, leads glued to my body, my head, my chest, spending a night in the hospital, my mom doing an IV before my math test on a Tuesday morning. It means avoiding scheduling plans based on the weather for fear if it rains my head might explode. It means bringing a makeup bag everywhere I go that's actually filled with medicine, a makeup bag that rattles when it's shaken, one that people accidentally open and look in horror as piles of orange pill bottles spill out. Being in my body means being beautiful. It means turning pain into art. It means being alive.
Hi everyone! I wanted to introduce Kaitlyn Yang, my mentee of 4 years. Kaitlyn's graduating from high school next week and going on to attend UPenn Wharton in the fall. My name is Megan Foy and I'm a digital director at parade.com. We've been meeting up downtown in the Westfield Place for our sessions for pretty much the whole time before the pandemic. And it's been such a joy and a pleasure to see Kaitlyn grow as a writer these past 4 years, especially during these Girls Right Now performances. One of our favorite things to do is 8-minute free writes at the start of our session, and our pair piece came out of one of these free writes. So hope you enjoy.
The idea for our poem, titled Golden Age, came to me during a free write at the beginning of one of our pair sessions. I was reflecting on the end of my senior year in high school and how it marked the end of a chapter in my life. My mentor Meg saw an opportunity to respond to the piece I wrote by sharing some of the insights and experiences she has gained as an adult. Golden Age. And they lived happily ever after. The end. Forever young, forever free, forever sailing on a warm breeze, catching fallen sunbeams in the palms of their hands. Paint my youth in shades of gold. Capture the light that will fade after the end, the laughter that will wash away with the wind. Remember my hands as they are now, tanned and unwrinkled. Hold my heart as it beats now, as if it will go on forever after the end.
Paint my age in shades of bronze. The memories that time distills are sweeter. The knowledge old hurts impart. Life is best lived in moments, not years. Carve my heart with them. Life's quickening only adds richness, and everything is turned into love. Forever steady, forever wise, forever smiling by the eyes, planted firm in the soft moist earth, hidden between the night's moonbeams fading from the sky. And they lived happily, knowing now their memories will last on.
Hi everyone, my name is Lennox McRain and my mentee is Mikael McCaskill. She's currently a senior in high school and is going to be attending Nassau Community College this fall. I've had the most amazing year being her mentor and I'm so excited for her to present her piece to you all today.
Hey guys, my name is Mikael and I'm going to be reading an entitled piece that I wrote about 5 months ago, so let's get into it. We don't look nor call unto God because we're afraid to be judged. As people, we don't think we deserve to be forgiven. We are alone, we are angry, we're in pain. We perceive the deception to our own minds and to our own hearts, like hypocrites, selfish liars, and angry monsters. But maybe if we look up to him, we could fly, we can touch the sky. It's heartache, it's heartbreak, it's the overwhelming feeling in your chest as if your windpipe can't release oxygen through your lungs. But some love the pain and others hate it. We feed into it like it's a drug addiction. We have no control over it. The voices in our heads slip in our minds like tide on the ocean floor. It's like experiencing a nightmare that you can't wake up from until you're up at 1 a.m. and you've arrived to the realization that you think that you're alone, but you're not.
Hi, I'm Jenny Milton, and I'm so excited to introduce my mentee, Lulu Shah. Ask Lulu about Fleetwood Mac, singing, and ice skating. Ask for her perspectives on race, gender, and sexuality and mental health. She's endlessly curious and committed to analyzing the often corrupt systems that govern our world and her place in those systems. I'm so proud of her, and I feel lucky I can watch her continue to grow into the fiercely intelligent thinker, writer, and activist that she is.
Jenny and I wanted to shine a light on the struggles that often go unnoticed and all the courage it takes to overcome them. This piece is loosely based on real-life events.
The unspoken epidemic. Sometimes I just wish I could evaporate. I take this seriously. One of my exes got so bad that I ended up having to call the cops. Some people won't, but I want you to know that I will call the cops if it comes to that. I'm glad you understand it's not a joke.
I was taking a walk when I saw the hedges in my yard. The leaves on the inside were turning black and leathery. The tender green leaves on the outside must have been blocking out the sunlight. As the plant grew, it cannibalized itself from the inside out.
My bed becomes crusty with sleep. Nothing feels right. I don't even feel right in my own body. Why can't you just be normal?
I got on my knees and crawled to her room. This will be the last time. She'll finally apologize, but it ends the same way as always. I'm your mother. I raised you. How dare you disrespect me like that?
My brain scares me sometimes. You are in charge of your thoughts even when you don't feel like you are.
The shrub was probably sick. Some kind of bug got into it. But even as it dies on the inside, new leaves are beginning to sprout in the outer layers. Now it's my turn to stand up, get out of the corner, and step into the sunlight.
Nothing is forever, except maybe this hollow nothingness. Maybe this is forever. Feelings have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Make space to move through the sadness, the anger, whatever it is.
The demons will always be there. While I can't accept them, I can try to understand them and make peace with them.
Hello, sadness. Remember when you'd spend hours locked inside of a soundproof room with your violin, going over the same tricky 2 bars of music? You'd dissect the music into its distinct elements, practice a whole series of scales, arpeggios, and double stops, forgetting rhythm and time to focus on intonation, then tapping out the rhythm on your chest until it pulses through you like a second heartbeat. When you'd stumble, play it backwards from the last note to the first, swing the rhythm, syncopate it. You're tricking your brain, making it think it's learning something new, so that by the time you take the stage, it will look effortless. Practice self-love like your life depends on it, because it does.
Hi, my name is Liz Donovan, and I'm thrilled to introduce my mentee, Ketty. Ketty has been working on a couple of personal essays over the last year, including this one that she's going to read today. And this is as she talks about the idea of performing gender and how she's learned as she's grown up about the different ways that society expects women to act. So I know you'll enjoy it as much as I did.
I was looking for copies of my summer reading in my grandma's library when I came across a book with "For Ladies Only" in large bold lettering on a leather spine. Of course, I let my curiosity get the best of me. I grabbed the book and completely forgot about my summer reading. It turned out to be a book from the mid-20th century filled with rules for young girls, essentially teaching them how to be women. It covered everything, from how to properly hold a book and talk to boys. It even described the best technique for smoking a cigarette so that you can make the manly habit look elegant and feminine. At that moment, I felt utterly cheated. All this time, there was a manual telling everyone about the secret rules of womanhood that I did not know about, and these rules felt suffocating. For a book claiming to make young women's lives easier, it did a horrible job. The defining womanhood that it did. It trapped the experience of all women into a short, static list of rules and expectations that I was convinced that I had to live up to in order to be a girl. In 5th grade, I proclaimed to my aunt that I needed a bra. She took me to the mall and got me a training bra. I was disappointed since it wasn't a real bra. A few months later, shaving became my new obsession. Then came plucking my eyebrows and doing my makeup. I made sure that I was ready for everything that could possibly go wrong. What if I accidentally fell down the stairs and people surrounded me and saw I hadn't shaved my legs? Or if I appeared in the background of a stranger's photo? Or if a boy at school sat near me and noticed I hadn't done my nails? Wouldn't that be tragic? Only a few years later did I truly realize the power that lies in femininity, and how it is almost synonymous with beauty. I no longer dressed up and painted my face to be a girl, but to be a pretty girl. There was no point in me trying to be a girl if I wasn't going to be pretty. I spent my adolescence observing my girlfriends, how they dressed, spoke, did their hair, walked. I was fascinated by how everything came naturally to them, and not seem like they had to read an instruction manual, they were just born as girls. Something my grandma's etiquette book failed to mention was the severity of a crime that is to look like you were performing womanhood. Yes, you have to wear makeup, but just the right amount so you look like you were born with mascara and eyeliner, and no razor bumps. God forbid that men find out that we grow hair on our bodies. Femininity to me became a power weapon as well as a performance. I came to notice how hated I was for overperforming it. Boys fear femininity, another thing that wasn't mentioned in my grandma's rule book, and not teach me the importance of hiding and mystifying my actual self, because to be truly feminine is to accept the limitations and trappings that make you perfect. To stop my performance was not an option for me either, because I was never born a girl. I had to learn to be one, and to stop my performance meant to stop being palatable. I don't want to be a boy. All I know is that I'm a human and a person, but to be recognized as one, every day I have to put on makeup, walk elegantly with my shoulders back and chest forward, smile, and roll the ashes of a cigarette instead of flicking it.
Hi everyone, my name is Karina Storrs. I am so happy this evening to introduce you to Alyssa Almeida. I've had a blast working with Alyssa. The year has really flown by, and I can't believe she and I have only met virtually so far. Alyssa is an adventurous writer, and she's been trying out a lot of different writing styles this year. This evening she will read you a piece she wrote about a memorable nature getaway.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Almeida. I'm a mentee at Girls Right Now, and the piece I'm going to be reading to you is called A Harvest of Memories. I got inspired to write this piece at a Girls Right Now workshop in the beginning of the year, and here is my piece. It was a crisp fall night, and there was a chill in the air. The leaves were already changing into warm shades of reds and oranges as they littered the city ground. I got into the car with my brother, and we greeted our grandparents. We drove upstate in the blackness of the night that hugged every corner of the earth. After 3 hours on the road, we arrived at my great-uncle's house. It stood tall and welcoming. Compared to the city, the air here felt light. I looked above me and stared at the millions of stars that shone in the night sky. As I walked towards the entrance of the house, the sound of nature rang in every direction. Crickets harmonized in the grass, owls with their occasional hoots, and the footsteps behind me stepping on the gravel. When I got inside, I was met with the comforting smell of wood. I drifted off to sleep and awoke to birds chirping as the sun beamed through the windows. The sun... Oops, I lost my place. The warm glow of the sunlight kissed my face and I started my day. As I sat on the back porch, I saw red cardinals flocking in the sky, eventually perching themselves on tree branches. A deer with her fawn wearily ate grass in the nearby field, sensing my presence. As I observed this moment, all my worries eased away. My shoulders relaxed, my jaw unclenched. I closed my eyes and breathed in the crisp morning air of autumn. Sunday morning, it was time to go home. I often dreaded these moments as the drive back to the city felt longer than the drive upstate. But alas, I rolled out of bed and my nose jubilantly met with the smell of coffee. I got dressed, packed my things, and headed downstairs. I went to sit on the back porch and turned my gaze over to the shrubs that were lined behind the garden rocks. A chipmunk rustled through the bushes. My coffee mug kept my hands warm as the brisk air whipped all around, causing the tree branches to dance mighty and high. Taking my final sips, I started walking towards the car. Traveling back to the city felt like the final moments of a vacation. You know it's going to end and you're leaving paradise to return to your daily routine. Looking out the window, I took in the bare trees with the red and orange leaves littering the side of the highway. Those trees would soon be replaced with houses and then eventually buildings that reached towards the sky. I could feel the air getting denser as the smell of gasoline and exhaust settled in. The car slowed down and we slid even further into our seats as we sat in traffic. Eventually, we arrived at the Bronx and it looked exactly as I had left it. I looked up at an empty sky, carrying the stars only in my memory. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Coster, and my mentee's name is Rachel Young. This year, we spent quite a bit of time writing and talking about confidence and the process of becoming an adult, which seems to be ongoing. This essay explores some of these ideas.
Hi everyone, my name is Rachel Young, and this is my piece called Finding Home. It was inspired by one of my last visits to the doctor's office, and it made me think a lot about how my definition of home will change as I grow up. Sitting in a stroller, I see my mother struggle to open the doctor's office door. My brother is running up and down the hallways, pretending to be a race car driver. I wonder how come no one makes things easier for mom when she's trying so hard. Sitting alone in the dentist's office at 15, I'm waiting for my turn with music playing through my earbuds. I'm trying to be more responsible for myself so that mom doesn't have to come running to save me. Hearing the door open to my right, I see a mother trying to make her way in with a stroller, her son running about the hallway, and I run to hold the door open. With high school coming to an end now, I'm breathing through a mask in the doctor's office I have been going to since I was born. No more unlocked door, no more toys, and no more screaming babies. Just a quiet, empty room with children old enough to walk on their own. My mother is by my side, and I will never see this office again. I remember when I used to sit on her lap to get shots, burying my face into her shoulder. With my mom in the waiting room now, I sit alone hugging my hoodie as I look away from the impending needle. My mom used to look at all the things I could not bear to see, so I never had to. She hugs me tenderly when I come out of my room after a bad exam. She makes my favorite foods like she can read my mind when all my thoughts are too jumbled in my head. She's always there for me when I rode the train with her on the first day of high school. She waited outside for me to get out of class so I wouldn't get lost on the way back home. I wonder if home will mean something else to me in a few years, and if I might end up losing my way back as the years pile up like miles. In a couple of months, I won't have my mom by my side. My brother will no longer be there to shovel snow in my stead. My dad will not be there to ply me with chocolate bars when I'm studying for finals. With college coming, I begin to hold those I love tighter to my chest because I don't want to let them go. And I don't know if the distance will begin to weaken the bonds we have. I suppose that even when I'm at college, in my heart, I'll know what my parents' love for me means. I'll never lose the parts of myself that have been formed by them. My untimely habit of laughing at all the wrong moments comes from my mother, who has taught me to laugh at myself when I stumble, but to continue trying harder next time. Even far from home, I have hope that I will create new friendships and discover that the possibility for warmth exists so long as I feed the flames. When I remember all the parts of myself my parents have given me, the dark clouds of thought seem a little bit lighter, and the waves of emotion settle to a calm sway, because I know I can always find home within myself. Thank you.
Wow, thank you all so much for unmuting to share these powerful stories. There's a lot to reflect upon from this selection of pieces, which are truly just a sample of what the Girls Right Now community has worked upon and has to offer.
Agreed. The work has been amazing. And now, please give a warm digital welcome to tonight's Agent of Change honoree, Mbolo Mbue.
Mbolo is the author of the New York Times bestseller, Behold the Dreamers, which not only won the PEN Faulkner Award for Fiction, it was, wait for it, an Oprah's Book Club selection. Her new novel, How Beautiful We Were, is about what happened when a fictional African village decided to fight against an American oil company that had been polluting its land for many years.
In line with our theme, we have just one question for you, Mbolo. How do you unmute yourself in your work and your life?
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you to Girls Right Now for all the wonderful work they are doing in supporting the next generation of writers. Thank you to all the young writers for your passion and for your dedication to writing. I believe very strongly that everybody has a story to tell. Some of us get to tell it more publicly than others, but I think that it is important that if you have a chance that you do tell the stories that you have to tell, because it makes a big difference. And I have learned personally in my life that we shouldn't really care so much about whether or not the world is eager to hear our stories, or whether or not the world is even interested in our stories. It is more important that we tell the stories that matter to us, the stories that have stayed with us, the stories that haunt us, the stories that won't let us go, that we just tell it. So my advice would be to you that you write the story that you wish to write, and not only that, but you do an excellent job at it, right? I imagine the many people who can tell a story, there's one thing to write and that thing to do an excellent job at it. And so I encourage you to work on excellence. There's a difference between writing any story and doing an excellent job at it. And for me, I learned that in the process of reading. I became a writer because I was a reader first. And my advice to anybody who asks me, for writing advice, is to read a lot. I was inspired, and I continue to be inspired by excellent writing. And obviously, everybody has their own definition of what excellence is. But my definition of it is when I look at something that I have written and I know that I gave it my all, that I wrote it and edited until I knew that I couldn't do anything more to it. So I hope that you will tell the stories that matter to you. I hope that you will continue to write them, and that you will read a lot, read widely, read pretty much everything that you think is worthwhile. Read writers from other countries, writers who are very different from you, writers whose opinion you might not exactly share, but you might find that you have something in common after all. So thank you again to everybody for this passion for writing. I am a book lover, and I very much look forward to the day where I will get to read some of your books. Thank you again, and be well.
Wow, thank you so much, Mbolo. It's so interesting to get an insight into the mind of a successful published author. That is so rare for young writers, and we really appreciate it. I think I'll have to process that a little.
For sure, I'm in the same boat. It has me wondering how our audience at home are reacting tonight. Let us know in the comment section, or you can tweet us at Girls Right Now. Speaking of impacts, Caroline, I'm going to put you on the spot, but how has the Girls Right Now program impacted your pandemic year?
Well, being a mentee has been extremely inspiring for me. It's provided an opportunity for me to be able to hear from creative voices that I don't usually hear from because of school's rigid writing structure. I can truly say that Girls Right Now has helped me develop my own voice, and it's been a lot of fun in the process, thanks to our amazing pair sessions, Orla.
Thanks, Dee. I could not agree more. We've had a lot of fun, and we've been super productive at the same time, which is always good. If you're inspired by what you've seen tonight so far, enrollment for our next program year is officially open. So you can check out girlsrightnow.org/enroll to apply or register to attend an open house for more information about becoming a mentee or a mentor like me. You can also support our programming at girlsrightnow.org/give, which is super important to us, and we really appreciate everything that's donated to Girls Right Now. Or you can purchase our 2021 anthology, Girls Right Now Unmuted. They're published authors, y'all! Available at all the places listed here on screen, including Caroline's favorite bookstore, McNally Jackson.
Yes, unless I buy out all the copies. Now, we've got lots more incredible work for you tonight with our next group of performers. Here they are.
Hi, my name is Megan McDonough, and my mentee is Sheridan Cole. We learned pretty quickly in our pair sessions that we both like to ask a lot of questions, and that's kind of how this project came about. For our anthology, we wrote the first few scenes of a screenplay featuring a college student who is blind and her guide dog. In order to inform that piece, we decided to do some research of our own and turned it into this podcast.
Hey besties, our interview was over an hour long, so we didn't get to include everything, but here's a quick PSA. First, don't pet a guide dog because it will distract them from their job, which is to be alert to obstacles for their owner. Admire them from a distance, but no petting. 2, treat a guide dog pair like you would anyone. If they need your help, they'll ask. Enjoy the podcast.
One of my dogs, Carter, I asked the trainers, okay, wait, what about this dog made you think of me? And remember, I was already working there. So they said, well, he's tall, blonde, And he's goofy.
Okay. Hello, I'm Sheridan. I'm Megan. And this is the Guide Dog Chronicles. We interviewed Lori Bernson, who works at Guide Dogs of America and has had 4 guide dogs of her own.
Actually, my guide dog, Captain, is walking in right now. I mean, you could probably hear the smile in my voice just because he walked up to me and breathed. But it's really about not so much the person being happy, but the dog and the person being happy. It's kind of like a dance. You know, the dog knows what to do, the guide. And I think I kind of know enough to be blind.
So, are there like specific habits that are specific to a certain relationship that you have with a guide dog?
That's a good question. They're all trained pretty much the same. It's more like our groove or like our routine that we kind of get in with together. Nigel was pretty chill, and Nigel was like a machine. Carter was so beautifully out of his mind that he was goofy. And then Edward, I only had for a short time because Edward, I don't think Edward really wanted the job. I think Edward wanted a part-time job. Captain is like a little boy in school with his knee socks up and his little bow tie. The dogs that become guide dogs, they do because they choose to. Because if they don't really like the job, that'll show up in training. And then we know, all right, we're not going to push this dog any further.
Hi, my name is Leah Gutman. This is my first year acting as a mentor for Girls Right Now, and I am honored to have been paired with Kaitlyn Levy. It goes without saying that Kaitlyn is a talented poet and writer. Her dedication to the craft and her passionate inquiry that she brings to sessions week after week always amazes me. Kaitlyn challenges me in my thinking. She helps me find my inner child, and she inspires me to be more creative in my day-to-day life. Without further ado, Kaitlyn Levy.
Thanks so much to my amazing mentor, Leah. I spent a lot of summer 2020 sort of just sitting underneath trees and trying to find the words to articulate what exactly I was feeling and not really being able to find the words. There's usually a real feeling of restlessness that accompanies summer for me, and I think it was amplified by the pandemic. So this is the piece. If you care to invade this lonesome summer, climb through my window and gawk, you'll think I look clownish. It's just warm oatmeal on my face, chunks slick with dead skin. The cool water after is to treat the emptiness, looming, awakening me even when there's only quiet and the thick heat. And it's the season for that clumsy heartbreak. I close my eyes to forget the feeling of her palms, but the recollection still arrives like a scene from some film, captions radiating soft light. Your grilled cheese fell on the grass. I toss fruit into her mouth, watch the spit and juice drip. Even memories aren't enough to fill these naked days left by the absence of things. Anything would suffice, even a postcard with smudged ink or European lemonade wrinkling it. I'm as restless as those nighttime moths fluttering away, also swatted away by my mom. My cutoffs are too short, even though my sweat is guttering like my thighs rain, and I'm as small as the moths, at least for now. Let it be for now.
This year, I've been lucky enough to be paired with Ivy, who's a senior. She's been accepted to Hunter College, which she'll be attending in the fall. Most of the time we spend our writing sessions avoiding the real world, but every once in a while it creeps in, as you'll see in Ivy's piece.
Hello, my piece is called Sloth. My parents did not talk American politics, but when I entered high school, I discovered everyone around me does. I did not understand the slightest about filibuster, the debate over medical care, or whatever politics was. I felt dumb. The following day, I made a New York Times account and turned on the notifications for the news. I did not like it so much. The assassination of an Iranian general, the entire continent of Australia on fire, the murder hornets. As the pandemic spiraled, the New York Times icon on my phone screen only became so much more daunting. George Floyd's death, the protests in Portland, the vaccine. I watched the danger as it watched me. A Thai man pushed to death in broad daylight. Filipino American man slashed across the face with a box cutter. The Atlanta spa shootings with 8 dead. The Chinese virus. The 150% increase in Asian American hate crimes. Last year, my playwright teacher had started with an icebreaker. What animal are you feeding right now? I am a sloth. Actually, no, it will make more sense to say I wished I was a sloth. Sloths are slow. They move 0.17 miles per hour maximum when threatened, yet they survived 64 million years and are still here to this very day. How, you may ask? Because Mother Nature abandons none of her children. Sloths camouflage, they grow algae on their fur, and they move oh so slowly, blending in with the background, evading their predators. Mother Nature has given us more than enough to flourish on our own, but when our own turns against itself, what can she do but watch in horror? We have no fur to grow algae on. If we move slowly, all that would do is encourage them to scream their slurs louder and shove our body against the pavement harder. We have no camouflage for our skin. I wake up every morning to the absence of my father, who works from 8 to 8. He comes home tired, hands blackened and gnarled from physical labor, and I worry. Do the shape of our eyes, the tint in our skin, paint a neon arrow directed at his head? I wish turning off the notification on my phone was enough. I wish for none of these horrors, but here we are. I wish I could continue to be lazy and active, selfish, slow. My body and my brain limit what I can do. By the very least, I can unfurl my limbs from a bed and utter, "We are human." Thank you.
Hello, my name is Michelle Kirchanskaya, and I am one of the mentors for Girls Right Now. It has been a pleasure being in this program, learning how to become a mentor, in addition to educating my own mentee, Sienna Lipton. During this time together, during the pandemic, we've had a wonderful time just like discussing stories and the importance of words and just like learning how to express our own voice. And I feel I have learned just as much from her as I hope she is from me. So today I am introducing my mentee, Sienna Lipton, and the piece she will be performing today. Thank you.
So my creative process for this piece was kind of informal. It started in my notes app when I was feeling inspired, and I kind of expanded on it from there. It's a poem about the internalized male gaze, and since I learned what that was, I've just noticed how it affects my thinking in my day-to-day life, and so I wanted to write about that. It's called I Am Your Vision. Beat me, slam me into the table, work me with your rough hands over and over. I am clay to be shaped, every part to your preference. Mold me until I am exactly what you envisioned, until I know how to be exactly what you envisioned. I live for you, I play my role for you. When you are satisfied, I am fulfilled, and without you, I am nothing. I am here for your convenience. You are the fiber of my very being. I must extract it carefully, what you've intricately weaved into the essence of who I am. I do not have problems for you to preoccupy yourself with, and I do not ask you to confront your moral ambiguities. I am silent, pleasing to the eye, and in return you give me praise, the greatest drug. Will I ever be free?
My name is Zoe Weiner. I'm a first-time mentor, and my mentee is the brilliant Alba Suarez. It has been such an immense pleasure to work with Alba over the course of the past year because she is truly one of the most talented, most creative, and all-around funniest writers I have ever known. Together, we've worked on memoir-style essays and fictional short stories and have had a lot of fun in the process. One of my favorite things about working with her, though, has been the fact that every time we sit down together, I'm pretty much guaranteed to learn something new because she is a gold mine of interesting facts and fun trivia. That is what inspired the essay she is about to read today.
When writing this, I really just wanted to make something that was, fun and lighthearted, so I hope you all enjoy. I hopped from the scalding hot concrete sidewalk into my family car. with my parents and best friend Sama, sheltering ourselves from the sticky, humid summer air with the freshness of the AC. We're on our way to the beach. Unfortunately, when you live in New York City, beaches tend to be an hour and a half car ride away, minimum, but that's no problem for me. I always come prepared. As soon as we're set on our way down the Long Island Expressway, I whip out my favorite game, very descriptively titled, Things They Don't Teach You in School, a crazy mix of fun facts, random trivia, and totally useless knowledge. In theory, the structure of the game should involve reading questions aloud and your fellow players shouting answers to accumulate the maximum number of points possible, but my company seems to be less than enthused. I suppose I can't really blame them for not being particularly excited to hear that the average human produces 2 pints of mucus every single day. But by this point, their brains are likely saturated with my constant blabbering of fun facts. You see, trivia has been quite the passion of mine ever since I got my hands on the Do You Have What It Takes to Be a Millionaire board game circa 2012. Ever since, the latest game of Jeopardy, airing every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, or any other evening TV trivia game show, has never failed to bring out an inordinate amount of competitive adrenaline in me. Because where else would I learn that humans shed an average of 22 kilograms of skin in their lifetime, or that 1 out of every 2,000 babies is born with a full set of teeth, or that the calcium carbonate found in fish poop reduces the amount of CO2 in seawater and is being investigated as a potential key to success in the battle to lower greenhouse gas levels in the atmosphere. Realistically, the majority of people in my life don't need to be reminded of these random ordinances of their existence. My mother could live without being told that nail polish was originally used by Babylonian soldiers as a method to intimidate their enemies every time she comes home with a pedicure. And my father is understandably aggravated when I remind him that fatbergs, rock-hard balls of human waste, are an increasing problem in New York City waste processing plants due to the rise of disposable wet wipes being flushed down the pipes every time he needs to unclog our bathroom toilet. However, I can say with confidence that knowing these things gives me more than just the satisfaction of being able to impart a bit of knowledge at the most inconvenient times. Take this fact, for example. Neil Armstrong's footsteps will remain on the moon for over 100 million years. Although the moon's lack of an erosive atmosphere is fascinating in its own right, there's more to it than that. Knowing this reminds me every single day that human life might be painfully temporary, but the footprints of the achievements we make have the potential to last for generations. And understanding how short-lived and fragile life can be makes wanting to absorb every little tidbit there is to know about the world we call home start to seem much less bizarre. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashley Lopez, and this year I've had the joy of getting to know Anna Plummer. During our time together, Anna and I created a podcast called The Mental Dive, in which we discuss mental health and professional athletes and also our own experiences. Anna's also done quite a bit of writing about her life as she transitions into high school and starts thinking more seriously about her career as an athletic trainer. Driven, even-tempered, and always with a smile on her face, I've been grateful to Girls Right Now for introducing Anna to me, and I now have the pleasure of introducing her to all of you.
Hi, I'm Anna Plummer, and I wrote the poem Seasonal Cycle, which is about what I think about during each of the 4 seasons. I decided to write this poem because during each season, I think and feel differently about each one, and whenever I'm in one season, I'm always thinking about the next. Sunday best plays in my ears, fresh air pours through the open windows, and bugs are flying in and out. No more long sleeves and baggy pants, no more shoveling snow off the car. Time for nice walks through the park and carrying bug repellent wherever we go. Pretty flowers and chalk art bloom on the sidewalks. Families are out with their kids, and the sun sets later. Then before you know it, it's summer. Stress-free for 2.5 months. There are so many fun things to do. Barbecues with the family, going to the boardwalk and winning prizes, hearing Mr. Brightside play while you scream on the swings, and the smell of sunscreen that takes me right to the beach. Picture me playing in the waves, watching sunsets on the water while listening to Morgan Wallen, getting dressed up for dinner and dressed down for late night swimming. So much freedom until it's fall. The soccer season starts back up. Cold 8 a.m. practices are on. Pumpkin spice lattes return to Dunkin' Donuts, and my favorite Bath & Body Works scents are in. Sweet cinnamon pumpkin and caramel pumpkin swirl. Louis Capaldi sings in my ears as I travel to the first soccer tournament of the season. But the best part of all is going pumpkin picking. The ground covered with orange treasures, on the hayride looking for the perfect one. It always takes a while to find one. Once we find it, we can't wait to add it to our home decorations. When the pumpkins start rotting, it's almost the holidays. The snow starts falling, Christmas lists are being made, and hot chocolates being served. I love watching movies while it's snowing outside. While I'm snuggled beneath a blanket, I feel safe. But the best part of winter is baking. We make chocolate truffles and butterscotch brownies. Gift exchanges are always a mess. Wrapping paper here, wrapping paper there, makeup here, sports jerseys there. In the end, we're always grateful for the gifts we give and get. After the holidays are over and the snow is gone, it's spring again. Feeling good like I should.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rachel Prater, and I am honored to introduce to you my mentee, Amber Prasad. This is our first year together at Girls Right Now. Amber and I hit it off from the moment we first met, virtually. Virtual meetings can be difficult, but luckily, not with us. Amber is smart, hilarious, and I've been proud to watch her unlock her creative side. She has a story to tell that is hers alone, and I'm excited for everyone to hear it. The world is truly at her feet, and I'll be cheering her on every step of the way.
It is in human nature to be caught up in one's own life. Whether you like to admit it or not, there are days where you forget that everyone around you, or all the people you have ever passed, maybe on the train or in your local Starbucks, has a life as vivid and complex as yours. The first time I had been caught up in this feeling, I was just a kid. See, when I was younger, I would go on lots of drives, and each time when night would roll around, the moon would peek out at me. My little brain, so unaware, couldn't help but think that the moon was following me. I thought that the moon had chosen to follow me and my car. I would giggle to myself, staring out the window as if the moon and I had inside jokes that only the two of us could ever understand. As I grew older, I wondered how many other kids he was following. How many other kids thought to themselves, the moon knows me. I wholeheartedly believed that I, a small kid, had somehow captured the moon's attention. Once I became familiar with this feeling, being caught up in my own life, I started to pay more attention. On my morning walks to the train or on Jamaica Ave, I would look at every person my eyes could reach and analyze them. The woman wearing the red feather dress with an unlit cigarette in her mouth was coming back from her recently deceased husband's funeral. She, however, did not seem distraught. The man running a gambling game on the J train is using the money he wins to buy his daughter those new high-top sneakers that she's been begging for. I wonder now how many children in the cars passing by assume things about my life the way I do others. They may have seen me glaring up at the sky and thought that I was speaking to an imaginary friend, rather than the moon they had also known. I wonder if the woman in the red dress saw my prying glances at her and analyzed me the way I did her. That my shoes were worn and dirty with mud, hair slicked back, so I must have been running from someone, and the glances were to make sure I wasn't being followed. Our relation to other people will never be known. There's no telltale sign to acknowledge that someone knows exactly what you're going through and vice versa. Sonder, noun. The realization that each random passerby is living a life as vivid and complex as yours. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Liz, and I'm really excited to introduce my mentee, Selena. Selena and I know that we're destined to be mentor and mentee because we have so much in common despite our different ages and backgrounds, from our experiences with mental health, body image, and even a lot of our favorite foods. Selena's writing is brave, bold, explorative, and I'm so excited for you to hear it today.
Hi, I'm Selena. Liz and I created our pair piece Push and Pull after discovering that we both had experiences with depression and suicidal ideation. We each wrote our own piece on this topic and named our collective piece after the push and pull we feel between wanting to live and wanting to die.
Some days I teeter on the lip of the sidewalk, the cars rushing past. I think, I don't want to die, but I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to kill myself, but I'm afraid I might. Other days I hear the buses full of people out my window. I put my fingers on my wrist and count my pulse in time with every pedestrian, every driver, every living thing and machine that could kill or hold me.
My mom cries to me. She doesn't want to die. She longs to live for decades to come because life is beautiful. And I find that so strange because this week, all I wanted to do is die. My mom clings onto longevity as her chest burns to the rhythm of her breath. Hungry masses gnaw at her insides. She fears dying sooner rather than later. She sees doctors who drain her blood into tubes, cut into her, and try to keep her alive. I see doctors who won't let me go until they're sure they'll see me again next week. who examine my wrists for cuts and try to keep me alive. Yet I am still so allured by death, like it's the glowing exit sign in an endless maze of doors at a party I didn't want to go to. I crave it like a warm embrace. Peace. It is the cure for everything. I can't help but feel this way ever since it came to me in the 5th grade. I know compared to others my circumstances aren't as dire, so I don't know why I'm always consumed by this dark desire. Of course, I want to live. There are so many people who fight for scraps of life while I try to leave it, and if that's the case, I'd want them to receive it. Give my life to someone who really needs it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Judy Rowland, and I'm a mentor at Girls Right Now. I'm pleased and proud to introduce my mentee, Meryl Mushum. Like a lot of our mentees at Girls Right Now, Meryl has a foot in 2 distinctly different cultures. In her piece, she'll describe to you how she makes sense of all that and how she's carving her own individual path forward in life. Take it away, Meryl.
My piece is called A Room of My Own. I'm balancing 3 plates at once, wearing my salwar kameez, struggling to serve food to the men at the table. The upcoming protest needs all hands on deck. The hands of men, as per Bengali custom. Intuitively understanding that I don't belong, I exit the men's room. In the kitchen, the women's room, I'm surrounded by a sea of aunts and grandmothers. The women around me have walked the well-worn path of child marriage, dropping out of school to become housewives. I'm just like them, but I dream of transcending the confines of the 2 rooms. I want to be with the men, seen as a capable mind, not a beautiful dress. If I was your father, I would have married you off already, an auntie interrupts. You look beautiful in your salwar kameez, she adds, scanning my prepubescent body. My cheeks redden. I remain silent despite the voice inside of me screaming, "This is not who I am." I struggle to find someone, anyone like me. But if I'm not a woman, what am I? A year later, I'm closer to figuring that out. I'm balancing 3 pamphlets on my gender justice advocacy program. At 13, I'm the youngest of a dozen high school and college-age women of color. A few weeks and many pamphlets later, with the group support, I'm emboldened. I start speaking. Everything comes spilling out. Worries about graduating high school and escaping child marriage. The applause and affirmation that follow my story make it clear that I belong here. I can make change like these women of color. During the next 4 years, my passion for equity brings me to the New York City Chancellor of Education, into the pages of the New York Times, and onto the Zoom screens of classmates I'm mentoring. My most significant accomplishment is convincing a state senator to support a bill that funds New York State schools by an additional $5 billion annually. I also finally found the word that describes who I really am. Non-binary. In the fall of 2019, at a police-free schools protest I planned, I again wear my salwar kameez, facing the crowd of thousands, fully inhabiting my first-generation non-binary Bengali American skin. I correct the host, who assumes that I am a girl, telling them dresses were not just meant for girls. I wear this because I am Bengali. I realize the personal is profoundly political. I have not settled for bringing politics into the women's room. I have made my own room for non-binary people of color and others with intersectional identity.
It's been great to see everyone turn on their mics to share their stories this season, but there are times to mute yourself. So we'd like to invite all of you to join us for a moment of silence to honor the victims and those affected by racial injustice in the country and the COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you, everyone. A moment of silence is definitely not enough, but we are truly so grateful to be here with all of you tonight to mark the tough times and look ahead towards building better, brighter futures together.
In that spirit, let's not forget that there are also times to get loud when you're speaking up for what you believe in or showing gratitude. Please join us in thanking all of our essential workers and all fierce advocates for justice. Let's hear it as well for our amazing honoree, Mbolo, and all of our Girls Right Now fam who contributed tonight.
We also want to thank you, our generous agent of change partners, our Girls Right Now Circle, our dedicated board of directors, and tireless staff. We could not do it without you. The phenomenal mentors and talented mentees at each of our Girls Right Now live episodes. You are wonderful beyond words. And all of you who spent your Friday night here with us, thank you. If you'd like to support more amazing work like this, you can make a donation at girlsrightnow.org/give or join the circle at girlsrightnow.org/circle.
You can also purchase our 2021 anthology, Girls Right Now Unmuted. We'll drop the links over in the chat. Here you can read not just my piece, but over 150 stories from the teen voices we have heard tonight and more.
And if you want more writing and community in your life, because let's be honest, who doesn't? You can apply to be a Girls Right Now mentee or mentor by visiting girlsrightnow.org/enroll, or join us again next Friday for a journey of hope and love.
A night celebrating the Girls Right Now class of 2021 with special guest speakers like Tayari Jones and Edwige Danicat, and the world's premiere of a short film starring Girls Right Now mentee Anais Fernandez. With that, our 2021 Spring Performance Series comes to a close. Thank you to every mentee and mentor who shared their work and a bit of themselves from the first show to now. You all brought so much beauty, emotion, and life to this series. It's what Girls Right Now is all about.